The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
New Vitamin Water Zero Sugar Pineapple Passion Fruit is packed with vitamins. Just like the amount of peas we packed in that sentence. It's packed like your tote bag. The one you stole from your ex. Or your overpriced half a studio apartment. Or extra rushed rush hour traffic. Packed like your calendar. Triple booked at 5, of course. Grab a Vitamin Water. Did we mention it's packed with vitamins?
How did you find him?
I just asked around the neighborhood. And
anybody know an older gentleman that walks around with a cane banging fences, and everybody knew exactly who you meant?
Yeah.
This is the plaintiff, Alyssa. She says the nasty defendant attacked her little 9-pound dog with a cane, and he hit her so hard he knocked her eyeball out of the socket. Her dog needed surgery, needs 2 more surgeries, and the rude man refuses to apologize and pay her the $5,000 he owes, so she's suing him. This is the defendant, Carl Koenig. He says he was walking his dog on a leash and the plaintiff's Pomeranian dog got out of his fenced-in yard and came at him in attack mode. The little dog lunged at him. He hit the dog in self-defense with his walking cane, and here they are. By the way, according to the American Kennel Club, Pomeranians are big dogs in little bodies who attack the neck of their victims. So he had every right to protect himself. He's accused of taking a whack at it.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Alyssa,
Hi.
you are suing Carl Koenig for $5,000 in medical bills, surgery, and future medical expenses for your dog because, according to you, he viciously attacked him. Tell me what happened.
Okay, so on May 11th, 2014, I had some friends over. We were all in my backyard, which was fenced in. My small dog, Sasha, was outside with us, and she saw someone going by with another dog, ran and snuck through a little hole in the fence.
How was the hole there?
It didn't really look, we were renting the house and it didn't look like a dog would actually fit through there.
How many dogs did you have there?
My friend had her dog there as well, the Beagle.
How many dogs would normally live there?
Just my dog, one.
Just Sasha.
Yeah.
So had Sasha ever gotten out before?
No.
So Sasha gets out into the open, to the street, right? To where they were. Okay. And you're walking and Sasha's what kind of dog?
Pomeranian.
How big is Sasha? Show me with your hand. Okay. What kind of dog do you have?
A Border Collie mix.
How big is your dog? Show me with your hands.
Probably about 55 pounds.
Okay. And had you walked your dog in that area before?
Yes, we don't live too far apart, or we didn't.
Was your dog on a leash?
Yes.
All right, so go on.
I got up to get Sasha, but she had run, and then all of a sudden I hear a yelp, and I ran faster to get her, picked her up on the little grass outside, which is technically my lawn, but outside of the fence, and I just picked her up, and her eyes started filling up.
You didn't see him and his dog on your lawn.
I saw him walking.
Wait, I haven't asked my question yet. You didn't see him and his dog on your lawn, right?
No.
Okay, go on. So you see him when Sasha's on your lawn. You see him doing what?
He was walking away, and then he swung his cane at the fence where the other dog was barking, the Beagle, my friend's dog. She was running along the fence barking, and I saw him swinging the cane, and he swung his cane up against the fence. But I was like pretty hysterical and just kind of, my dog's eye was filling up with blood. So
what'd you do?
Luckily I had friends over. They drove me to the emergency vet, because I was like shaking, and the dog went into shock. She looked like she was basically having a seizure. And we went to the emergency vet, and she had gotten a proptosis globe, which means that her eye fell out of the socket, and they had to surgically repair that.
Okay. Do you have a picture of the dog?
Yeah, I have
Before and after.
Yeah.
How did you find who the defendant was since he was walking away? I mean, nobody ran after him when he was walking away and say, hey, what happened here? Nobody?
I was concerned with my animal.
No, I know, but you had a bunch of other people there. One of them could have run over.
Right, but...
Just okay. So this is the puppy. This is Sasha before.
Right.
Oh, poor Sasha. And this is Sasha now. This is how that's the best they could do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have to think about this every time you look at her.
Right.
Okay, so how did you find him?
I just asked around the neighborhood, and
Anybody know an older gentleman that walks around with a cane banging fences, and everybody knew exactly who you meant?
Yeah, actually.
All right, so what'd you do?
Well, I didn't see it, so I didn't completely know what happened. All I know is I saw him walking away, swinging the cane, and I saw my dog with an eye filling out with blood. So I just went to his house to kind of try to figure out what happened, you know, because if it was the dog that pawed Sasha or something and it was an accident, then that's one thing, you know. But if it's actually done by a human being that deliberately swung a cane at my animal, then I want to know about it. So I went to his house. His daughter answered the door, and I said, you know, there was an event. My dog may lose her eye. I just want to know what happened. And she said, yes, my father came home. He told me the story and everything, and he said that your dog was attacking, and he hit her with the cane as protection. And she said he carries the cane around to protect himself against the animals in the neighborhood.
Are there a lot of loose animals in the neighborhood?
There was one dog, but it was that was a larger dog that in that neighborhood that the owners would leave in the front yard, but it didn't really it wasn't.
When you say the front yard, you mean that the dog was roaming free?
Sometimes.
So did you ever talk to him or no?
No, I never did. If I were to have hurt someone else's kid or animal, I would have offered to pay or at least apologized, and
What happened?
I didn't get that.
What happened?
I'm taking my dog for a walk. Sasha jumped up in the air, bounced off the fence, and wiggled through the little opening in the fence. And then right away, like a speeding bullet, came out. And she didn't do what most dogs do. In fact, I used this defense against their beagle very successfully. What I do...
Wait, what are you saying?
They had the other dog. He got out through the back gate.
Oh. Because
No.
wait a second. Two dogs got out?
Yeah.
Okay. So, go ahead. So
anyway.
This defense being what?
I'm sorry?
When you say I used this defense against the beagle and it worked,
I've used it
meaning what?
against other loose dogs.
Okay.
Further down the block, I was walking my dog one day, and a woman didn't want to meet with the Jehovah's Witnesses, so she let her pit bull out. What ended up happening was they totally ignored the pit bull had totally ignored the Jehovah's Witnesses and came after my dog. What I use the cane for is I also have, I have a Baker's cyst, I have all kinds of arthritis.
Well, you sprinted in here. I did notice that. So
I still have a good walk.
I think you bring it for protection.
But I have the cane, and I still walk, because after the surgeries I had, I do a lot of walking. I use the cane, I bounce the cane against the ground, the noise usually stops him, and then I point the tip right at the dog's face, and the dog will stop, which will usually give the owners time to come and retrieve the dog.
How often does it happen that dogs get loose in your neighborhood?
Quite a lot. In fact, I don't know if Alyssa was ever up at 7 o'clock in the morning. We have this these two women, they walk their dog totally off the leash. He's running all over the place.
So when you say, I used this defense on the beagle successfully, you tapped on the ground with the cane.
I tapped on the ground and put it right against, yep.
Okay. I think you got a little too close to this one because...
I didn't have a choice. What ended up happening is I was bringing my cane down in order to try and get some distance, but the little Pomeranian just kept attacking at my dog's throat.
Okay, when you say attacking at your dog's throat, did the Pomeranian actually make contact with your dog, or
no,
didn't get to?
No. What ended up happening is when the dog first came out.
So basically, the dog is rushing towards you and your
yes.
dog.
I yanked my dog back.
You yank your dog back.
Dog flew by, landed on the ground, jumped right back at my dog's throat. And that's
When you say jumped at your dog's throat, how, because the dog didn't make contact with your dog's throat, so I'm trying to figure out, where is the dog when your cane flies? Where is the Pomeranian when your cane flies?
About that far away from my dog's neck.
In the air?
Yeah.
So you literally swatted it off with the cane?
I was trying to come back down to try and get it to stop, yes.
Wow, what a disaster, huh?
Yep.
So why didn't you ever go apologize and explain all this? You know she came to your house, she talked to your daughter, she was distraught. Why wouldn't you just make contact, you know, and do kind of the human thing and say, I'm sorry, there's so many loose animals here, it was self-defense, whatever. Why wouldn't you just talk to her?
Because it's not my responsibility to do that. My responsibility is to make sure my dog doesn't attack other people's dogs.
Why don't you let me handle the legal parts of this? I'll handle the legal parts. I'm talking about the human part. I'm talking about the moral part.
I still don't understand.
You don't understand what I'm saying?
My first responsibility is to take care of my dog.
Yeah, we're not asking you that. I'm asking you, when you ended up leaving a puppy, a dog, looking like this for the rest of its life, that she has to look at it all that, don't you think it would be a human, not humane, human thing to do, to go and speak with her and tell her it couldn't be helped, this is what happened, so that she doesn't have to hate the world? I mean, it doesn't matter to you that what she suffered, she didn't do anything wrong other than that there's a hole and the dog got out. That's not an intentional act. So I understand your conduct when it happened. I don't understand you or your conduct after it happened. I don't know why, even while I'm standing here, when I'm suggesting to you that maybe you should feel a little bad that this happened, that you don't turn around and tell her I'm sorry. Like, aren't you sorry a little?
Of course.
Tell her that. Tell her that. I want you to tell her that.
I'm really sorry that your dog got, hurt in the process. I really am.
Welcome back to the People's Court, Harvey Levin here. You know, Pomeranian dogs, little tiny dogs, are they aggressive by nature?
Not really. Just a little bit yappy, but usually they're really just really cute.
Are you suggesting small dogs are not aggressive?
I think it depends on their owner.
Are small dogs like Pomeranians aggressive by nature?
I think it's definitely the owner.
Napoleon complex, maybe.
Perhaps.
There you go, going inside the courtroom.
He's walking around with a weapon.
Here's the
Beagle
thing,
is
though,
within the fence.
Alyssa, here's the thing, and here's the thing that's, the issue here. You say, well, he shouldn't be walking around with a weapon because he may use it in self-defense. And that's not the issue. The issue is, was it self-defense? That's the issue. So it's the whole thing is so horrible and unfortunate. But at the end of the day, we have a very small dog. I understand. It's a Pomeranian. And yappy dogs are yappy dogs, but yappy dogs can do damage too, And it's coming towards his dog, which is on a leash. And he takes the stick, which is why he brings it, because I saw him run up to he was perfectly fine walking. I don't know if you might have had 1,000 surgeries, you're doing great. But he doesn't need the stick to walk, okay? But if he needs a stick to make sure dogs don't attack his dogs who are roaming free, then he needs a stick to make sure dogs don't attack his dogs who are roaming free. I mean, you're implying there's something wrong with that. No, there's something wrong with the neighborhood where dogs get out and dogs, are let out on purpose or get out by accident or whatever else is going on. But what did he do wrong? I mean, did he apply too much force? Well, but that's the thing. When you're saying that, you didn't.
He knocked an eye out of the socket.
Stop. You are assuming that he applied too much force based on the result. But your dog is in a full tilt heading towards his dog. And so how do you testify that he used excessive force and it wasn't just self-defense based on the injury? Your dog's eye would be just as damaged if your dog ran into the stick at full tilt. So you can't testify to how it is that it happened, that he maliciously went like that to poke him in the eye. He just needs one thing, you to be able to get your dog and your dog not to do any damage to his dog. See, we look at the conduct of the humans, not of the dogs. Your dog is being a dog. Your dog is getting out, your dog is, protective. Pomeranians are very protective, okay? And your dog is getting out, your dog is being protective, and your dog is, you're the one who's violating the law by your dog getting out. You know that, right? I know you don't feel that way because you feel like you're the victim because of everything that happened, but your dog got out, that's illegal. Your dogs aren't supposed to get out. Your holes are supposed to be patched. Your fences are supposed to be intact, okay? So your dog is violating the law, or you're violating the law by your dog being able to get out, and then your dog is doing what dogs are supposed to do. And his dog is doing what dogs are supposed to do because this dog is on a leash. And then he is doing what he feels necessary to protect his dog. And the result was catastrophic. And I would have liked to see, you know, a little bit of human element here, because I don't think we'd be here if there had been a little bit of the human element. But I can't legislate decency. I can only rule on what's in front of me. What's in front of me does not warrant me ordering him to pay for the medicals of your dog, because he did not do anything that he did not have a right to do under the circumstances. So I'm very sorry, but my verdict in this case is for the defendant.
So unfortunately, I think all dog lovers will agree they're very sympathetic with your case here, and very sad what you had to go through, but legally he's in the right here at this point. How do you feel about this?
I feel like this man's a monster, and I'm happy that everyone can see the kind of person that he is, even if I didn't win. It's unfortunate, and at least Sasha, you know, gets a little bit of recognition for what she's gone through.
How is she doing?
She's good. She's still a happy girl. She's adjusting well to only having one eye.
Well, listen, it's a very sad case. I really sympathize with you as well, but unfortunately, that's the way the law sees it, and your dog did get out, so not much the judge could do. Okay? Thank you very much. You must sign some documents. Now, here comes Mr. Koenig. Mr. Koenig, you kind of come off as being rather heartless in this whole thing.
Yes, I'm sorry, I do.
It doesn't make you look good, even though you're in the right. I know that.
This is the first case scenario because I've never had anybody come at my dog like that. I literally almost had no choice. It wasn't that I was intentionally trying to hit the dog. It was just that at the moment my cane was coming down, the dog was leaping, and we met.
Well, I know you tried to apologize. Maybe you can catch her again on the way out and tell her again you're sorry, okay?
Yes.
Might help you look a little better.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
You have a good day.
All right, Harvey, a lot of cases like this, I know. What do you think?
You know, here's the thing, Doug. You can use reasonable self-defense against an animal that's about to bite you. You know, if it's a Pomeranian, they still have the capacity to bite. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
Is anyone out there?
Another salesperson enduring the endless search. Exhausting. If you want to get right to the right conversations, you need LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Whether you're looking for new leads or strengthening existing relationships at your top accounts, get right to the right conversations with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Try LinkedIn Sales Navigator now with a free 60-day trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial.
Terms and conditions apply!
This is the plaintiff, Gina. She says she brought her very expensive Bulgari watch to the defendant's jewelry store to get the battery replaced. Turns out the people he has working for him are inept because they lost a screw to the back of the watch. When he told her he found it, he damaged the watch by screwing it in because it was the incorrect screw. She had to bring the watch to Bulgari, was charged $385 to fix it, and that's exactly what she's suing the stubborn defendant for, right here today. This is the defendant, Alex Babayev. He says he admits to losing the spring-loaded screw and offered to get the plaintiff another one. It would have cost him about $15, and he would have repaired the woman's watch for free. She left the shop in a huff, had the watch fully serviced at Bulgari, and now wants him to pay $385? No way. He's accused of screwing it up big time.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff brought her Bulgari watch to the defendant for batteries. The guy lost the screw, and she now wants a lot of money for it. She spent $385 to have the screw replaced. But the defendant says it would have cost $15 for the screw. It's the case of you have a screw loose.
Thank you, Douglas. All right. You want to be called just Gina?
Yes, ma'am.
Gina, you are suing Alex Babayev and Metro Jewelers, that's your company?
That's correct.
For $385, the amount that you had to pay to fix a Bulgari watch when a screw went missing at his place. Tell me what happened.
Correct. On June the 15th of 2015, I passed by Mr. Babayev's store. I had passed it many times in the past, and at this particular time, my Bulgari watch needed a battery. So I went inside, and the young lady, I told her it's a Bulgari watch, and she said, oh, that's fine. We service Rolexes. We do all that. So that made me feel confident enough to take my watch off, give it to her, and she put it right in front of me on a little pad. She started taking apart the casing and doing whatever you need to do to change the battery. And in the course, at that moment, just sort of in front of all of us, a tiny little screw just went flying somewhere's behind the counter. And everyone winds up on their knees, her, other employees, looking for this little tiny screw.
Did you actually see it fly? Because you were watching, or no?
Well, actually, I was just standing there, but didn't quite see the moment when it popped.
But she did?
Yes.
Okay.
And they were all looking for the screw, couldn't find it. They took a little broom out, started sweeping the floor, and to no avail. So I said, what do you do now? She says, oh, I'm sure we could find another screw to put in there. So I waited for a few moments. They looked in drawers and other places and couldn't find another screw. They said, I said, well, I'm not going to leave the watch here. I said, may I speak to the boss? You lost my screw to the watch. The boss came back and he said, he looked at it. He said, I will.
Wait, is this the boss?
The boss.
Okay.
This gentleman here came back and said, oh, yeah, I can get it fixed for you. Just leave the watch. At that point, I really didn't feel very comfortable about leaving the watch. About an hour, they scotch taped my watch back together because it wouldn't shut. So I was afraid of other pieces falling out of the watch. And they scotch taped it back, put it in a plastic bag. About 2 hours later, I get a call, we found your screw.
Oh.
So I very excitedly ran back to the store with my scotch taped watch, and it was the wrong screw. They started messing with it and playing with it, and the screw did not fit.
Wait, where did we find that screw? Did we actually find that screw, or we found a screw that we could use?
So she paid $385 for the screw. Does she get that money?
Absolutely.
A lot of money for a screw.
She brought it in for a battery. He lost the screw. He's responsible.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Does she get the $385?
Yes.
Really? Does she?
If she paid that much to get that exact same screw back, but
is it reasonable, $385 to this guy for losing the screw?
Depends on what kind of contract they have.
Nobody wants to say yes here. Nobody wants to say yes. Going inside the courtroom.
We have a lot of screws.
Okay, so you just found all screws. Nobody found the screw that popped out.
In order to find the right screw, she would have had to leave the watch because the threads are all different.
Right, but nobody found the screw that actually popped out.
No.
Even to this day, nobody's found it.
It is so tiny. It is
So
unbelievable,
tiny.
yes.
So tiny. How much did your Bulgari watch cost?
This watch was in the thousands. It was a gift to me, and it was in the thousands, and I've had it for many years.
Are you an authorized Bulgari watch repair place?
No.
Why were you taking your several $1,000 watch to an unauthorized, to a dealer that wasn't authorized?
Over the years, changing the battery was just something very basic that...
And why are you opening up an incredibly expensive watch that you're not, I mean, maybe that's like a function of that watch where you have to be very careful with it. Maybe you should have a sneeze guard, you know, so that if something goes flying, we can stop it. I don't know.
No, we fix all kind of watches, Rolexes, Breitlings. So, I mean, some of them are easy, some of them are technical.
Okay, so you at this point have no faith, and so you take the watch and you take it to...
I asked the employee to please sign something, and she wrote, "Screw lost in store by me," because
I'm sure she felt awful.
I'm sure she did. I'm sure she
Yeah.
did. And then I took the watch to Bulgari, and they looked it over and took several
you'll pay.
weeks.
Don't think you won't pay. If you're taking it there, it's not going to be a $20 screw.
Right. Well, that's what Mr. Babayev believed, that he could just send it to whoever and they were just going to fix it. I didn't know whether they would put in the right parts or approved parts for that watch,
Right.
seeing as what happened at the store. So that was where
They
the
charged
suit-
you then $385 because you can't just buy a screw, according
Exactly.
to you.
That's what I
You
said.
have
Can you
to-
give me a screw?
Right.
I asked them because he asked me to ask the Bulgari store, and they said they cannot.
Okay. And did you ever call the Bulgari store once you realized you were being sued to see if it's possible to just buy?
No, basically they usually charge you more just to get
they charge you more
for
yeah.
the maintenance. And
They're
all
in the business of making the $385 for the battery change. They change your gaskets. But that's the only way to get the part that they lost back in there.
Exactly. They needed to do their thing before they could give me back the watch whole.
Okay. So what is your defense? Yes, we lost a screw, but it's not a $385 screw?
It doesn't, I don't deny it. I told her I will replace it. I do have a watch maker on the premises. He comes in Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I would have charged nothing for it because I know it's my fault, and to compensate for her loss and everything, I'll take care of it. Not even charge her for the battery. She said, no, I don't trust you. I don't want to do that. So I really signed saying that, if you could bring me the screw, I'll put it in. Not $385, honestly speaking.
Right.
Sensible.
So
thinking.
how much does changing a battery cost? If everything had gone well, what would that cost?
On her watch, it's basically around $10, $10, $15, depending on the size of the battery.
Right. What about the fact that this is a really expensive watch and that she has no idea what's going to happen a year from now with the wrong screw in there? What about the fact that none of it is her fault? I mean, there are screws and then there are screws, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the risk you run when you open up a several $1,000 watch and lose the screw.
Only one screw would fit that. Otherwise, the whole mechanism is gone. That's why I have a watch guy on the premises. He fixes all kind of watches, certified watch technician. I don't have him on a daily basis because he has other jobs that he does. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is the only time.
Now, I hear you, and I understand what you're saying, and it seems kind of harsh. But by the same token, I hear her, and she's blameless, and she lost faith, and she doesn't want you to compensate her by paying her $10 because she was only able to put the watch back together by taking it to Bulgari. But you're saying, well, no, Judge, she would have been able to put the watch together again. She just needed to leave it with me and give me a chance. And that's where the rub is. Does she have to leave it with you because that's reasonable and that's the only thing she should be able to do and that's the only thing you should be held accountable for? Does she have to leave her several $1,000 watch with you guys when she's already brought it there once, you lost a screw, you made her come back, and then it turns out it was the wrong screw, and she's done with you? And I don't think she does. I don't think she does. I'm going to deduct $15, which is what she would have paid at your place, and I'm going to order you to pay her $370 verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff prevails. She gets $370 back. Mr. Babayev, how do you feel about the outcome of this?
I'm truly sorry for the screw that I lost, but listen, she does have an expensive watch, I understand, and if she would have left it with me, I probably would have fixed it with the right technician. I mean, of course, I'm not.
I understand. I feel bad for her. I'm even nervous about walking out with a watch scotch taped together. I don't know if I'd let her do that if I were you. You could have lost more money.
I didn't want other parts to be lost.
Well, neither did she. Thank you very much. Sorry about it. Maybe you've learned a lesson from this. Here comes Gina, the plaintiff in this case. The key is the watch okay now?
It's perfect.
Running well?
Running
good time?
well. Good time.
What have you learned out of this whole exercise?
I think I will be more selective with where I'm going to be repairing this watch.
You really should have probably gone to Bulgari in the beginning.
I agree, but I'm glad that the judge was able to see my position here.
No question. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You must sign some documents. Harvey, it's your turn.
I mean, I gotta say, she is entitled to be made whole, and made whole means all the parts of a Bulgari watch get to go back into the watch, and that would cost a lot of money. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
This is the plaintiff, George Stewart. He says the defendant used to be his landlord, and the place he rented from her was a death trap. That's right, the roof collapsed on him. He and his wife got out of there fast, and now he's having one heck of a time getting her to return as security. Bottom line, the defendant has some nerve holding on to his money. That's why he's here suing for every penny of the $1,400 she owes him. This is the defendant, Gabriella Barragan. She says the apartment was freshly painted and in such great condition, and when the plaintiff moved out, the place was a bloomin' mess. The plaintiff never cleaned the apartment. The grease on the counters was as thick as could be, and she lost out on re-renting the place for a month while she spent money cleaning it. Oh, him? Ha! She's accused of depositing a deposit.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says the place he rented from the defendant was a death trap and can't get his security back, but the defendant says the apartment was in great shape when he got it. It's the case of your place is dead to me.
Thank you, Douglas. George Stewart, you're suing your former landlord, Gabriella Barragan, for $1,400 that you say she owes you and is wrongfully withholding. Tell me what happened.
What happened, I've rented the apartment from her from 2012. And from the time I rented the apartment for all these years, I never have no heat. The only time
Wait, where do you live? New Rochelle?
New Rochelle.
How did you live without heat for 4 years?
No heat. The only time the heat comes up is like 3 days before the end of the month. And after I pay my rent, 2 days after, the heat goes again. I keep on complaining time after time. My wife have been moved out because of no heat. My daughter started to get sick. My son started to get sick because of no heat. The place is cold.
How'd you live there for 4 years like that? Why didn't you just call 311?
The reason why, because I'm new in the country. I don't understand a lot of things. We are poor. We don't know what to do. Nobody tell us what to do. So I guess now...
Okay, how much was your rent?
$1,400.
Okay, and you'd given her a $1,400 security?
I gave her... I have the receipt here from the first rent.
$1,400 security?
Yes.
Okay, so go on.
And I have some pictures here.
May I see them?
Thank you.
Okay, what is this a picture of? The bathtub?
That's a picture of the bathtub. Was clogged up for a month. And I can't shower, no shower for a month. I have to shower at other people's places.
But what are you taking a picture of here? It's not clogged in this picture. What are you doing?
It's drained. It's slowly drained away. So
okay, that's hard to see in a picture.
Yeah.
Okay, what is this a picture of?
The window of my daughter was a mole. All the moles on the window because of, and you can see the windows. It's sweat. It's sweat, no heat. And it's all those. That's the reason why my son takes sick, and I have the receipt for. And he charged me thousands of dollars. I have the receipt here for his sickness.
Why is the window wet like that?
Because of no heat. And the place is so cold. You can see all the mold.
Oh, I see mold.
Yeah, that's why the place is cold.
Did you see this?
When this happened, he told me like a month after, the daughter always stayed in her room. It was always closed. He never told me about it. And I sent somebody right away to fix it, but there is heat. There was heat. There's a 6-family building, and there was heat there. Everybody complained of being too hot. And he was the only one that complained that it was cold. I don't understand.
Okay, does everybody have a separate meter?
No, there's only one thermometer, which is in the hallway, and there's no way to control one place.
Okay.
The whole building was, it was heat on it.
So, but what was causing this mold?
I sent somebody to fix it, and but I don't know why was it. They put the some kind of chemicals that they put on the.
Yeah, they put kills and they probably repainted it, but
Yes.
why was there mold to begin with there? That's what you got to get to the bottom of.
And that's exactly because it was too humid, maybe. I don't know. Because they never opened the window. It was always closed. The door was closed, and they never opened that window. Or
That
the
shouldn't
door.
happen because your door is closed. There has to be some leak or something wrong. I don't know. Anyway, so you fixed it, and did you ever hear from him again? Did you have to fix it multiple times in 4 years, or just the one time?
No, just the one time.
And when did you get a call about that? Year 1, year 2, year 3, or year 4?
No, it was about the last year when they were living.
Okay. Do you have any evidence of ever having complained about the heat before you're trying to get your security deposit back?
No.
Do you have an email to her, a text to her, anything showing that you've been complaining about the heat throughout 4 years?
I have a lot of texts while I'm on the phone.
Do they say what I'm asking?
I can't remember, but I know
Well, take a look at them.
I keep on complaining.
Show me if you have it. I know, but you can't just keep telling me you kept complaining. She says that's not true.
Yeah.
So I want to see evidence that she's a liar and you're telling the truth. While you're looking for that, let me ask you, why is it you won't return his security deposit?
First of all, it wasn't the reason why I didn't return the deposit. It was because he said that he was going to move out, and I said, okay, but you got to let me show the apartment to the new people that's going to rent it. So he said, okay. The first time when I went there to show the apartment, it was so dirty, and I couldn't even go in. Yeah, very dirty and smelly. I couldn't go in, and I said, no, I can't.
And smelly?
Yeah, it smelled like
Like
feet.
what?
And greasy feet,
Like
cheesy feet, greasy.
And
I
it
don't
was
know.
greasy? Okay.
So, and I told him you got to keep it a little nicer and clean so we can show it.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, first of all, I don't feel comfortable you going in with other people in my place, and I can't let you show it anymore. But don't worry, I'll keep it clean, and I give it to you back clean when I leave."
Okay.
So I said, "Okay," because I can't show it like this. So by the end of the month, when
Do
he
you
was
have a
about-
lease with him?
by then, it was already over. He was leaving month to month because he said that he was leaving. So
Because he has to let you show it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not, like, you just have to, his rights as a tenant are to have you plan it and not
Right.
surprise him. Your right as a landlord is to show it. You don't have to eat a month's rent when a tenant leaves. So he moves out, and what condition, according to you, did he leave it in?
You can see the pictures. I mean,
Okay, let me see the pictures.
It
Were you
looks
able
like
to
he
find
never
any
cleaned it in
texts or
4
emails
years.
to her that say to her, we have no heat, you need to fix this, anything like that?
No,
Oh,
on the
okay.
phone call.
But you found lots of texts, right?
Yeah, but
just
none for
nothing
the-
that said that.
Yeah, none for phone, none on the phone.
Okay, because I would be the first thing I would say if I lived in New Rochelle and didn't have heat.
So if there's no heat in an apartment, can the tenant break the lease?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's a shoddy, it's a slumlord.
Okay, but, I mean, depending on the temperature, do you automatically get to break the lease if you're the tenant and there's no heat?
Yes, you do. Like,
Heat's pretty basic.
Yeah, like that. It's a basic right in your lease.
Goes back to the cavemen, right, when they discovered fire, going inside the courtroom.
All right, what is this?
That's the kitchen. It's supposed to be white.
Oh, it is?
Fridge.
And what?
The door.
But what was that? Burned or just
No, it was
greasy?
just dirty, greasy.
Just dirty.
Like-
And this was just dirty? This cleaned off?
Yes.
You're showing me here this part?
When
The grout is dirty?
The grout. It came out with Clorox. So.
Okay. Ugh, what's that?
Those were the doors.
The doors?
Yes.
How do you even get a door to look like that?
I don't know.
Why is a door like that?
It wasn't like that.
Oh, she made it like that for court?
I don't know. It wasn't like that. Definitely it wasn't like that. Because it wasn't like that.
What happened to the wall?
That's how the walls were.
Okay, but this isn't $1,400. I mean,
No.
why are you keeping $1,400?
Because I repainted. No, I told him I was going to give him the rest after the
What's
lady
the
cleaned.
rest?
I told him I was going to give him $400 back.
How do you justify keeping $1,000?
Because I replaced the rag on the room and I...
The what?
The rags.
The
Just
rugs?
one room.
Okay. How new was the carpet?
Well, I installed it when he moved in.
Okay.
But I have.
Do you have a picture of the dirty carpet? Is this the?
It's one with my sneakers over there.
This
yes.
one?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yes.
Okay. Well, were you able to have it professionally cleaned?
No, I replace it.
Okay, but you know,
It's
you don't, but you don't get to refurbish the place whenever a tenant leaves. You have to be able to show what it is that it cost you to actually clean the place. It's disgusting. You have to be able to show what it actually cost you to clean the place up. So do you have any receipts, or did you do everything yourself?
I do everything myself. Well, the lady, I paid cash. The cleaning lady, I paid cash.
How much did you pay?
It was about $300.
Do you have a receipt for that?
No, she didn't give me the receipts. I paid her cash.
Okay. And how long did she spend there that she would make $300?
It was about 3 days.
Did you re-rent the place?
Yes, I lost a month's rent because they had to do all this cleaning after. Because I didn't show it when he was there.
Yeah, but why did you lose a whole month?
Because
because if it took 3 days to clean, then it took 3 days to clean.
Yeah, but who's going to start in the middle of the month?
Some people rent on the 15th and you prorate it. That happens. But were you trying to rent it and you couldn't?
Right.
I'm going to let you keep $700, half of the security deposit, but I'm going to order you to return the other $700 to him. The place is filthy and it needed to be cleaned up, and that took a certain amount of time. But if you weren't able to re-rent it, part of the reason why is because you decided not to touch it until he got out. So I'm not going to entertain your claim for the security deposit for that other month. But I am going to allow you to keep $700 because it really was disgusting. Now, you had offered to return $400 to him, right?
Yes.
And he didn't want to take it. Well, I'm going to order you to return $7. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
So the plaintiff prevails. The defendant's on her way out of the courtroom. Ms. Berrigan, if you'll step over here for just a minute, please. You have to give him back $700. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's the order.
That's the judge's rule.
Yeah.
So you're not going to argue?
No, it's fine.
You seem like a nice sport. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Officer McIntosh is waiting for you. And come on out here, Mr. Stewart. How do you feel about it? You were asking for $1,400. You're going to get $7 back.
Yeah, but it's better than $400.
That's right.
It's better than $400, Charles. She want to have me $400. I was going to accept it, but she refused from telling me how can I pick up the $400. Every time I call her, I'm at the airport. Oh, she planned to give me $400. $700 is better than $400.
Very good. Okay. Worth it coming to court for that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Better than none at all.
Thank you very much. Officer McIntosh is waiting for you. And Harvey, your turn. What do you think?
You know, there's something called a warranty of habitability. A place has to be clean and safe. No heat is not safe, but no proof here.